Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Right, article in the description box as always. So Dillian Whyte has outlined his frustration with the WBC as far as the mandatory situation goes, as in he's owed a WBC title shot with Deontay Wilder or whoever the champion may be. So we'll get into Dillian Whyte's statement, and then of course we'll have a little chat about it. So this is Dillian Whyte's statement. It was an amicable chat with Mauricio Sulaiman. He's the president. I speak my point, he speaks his point. And then we just come up with some sort of plan. We were meant to have something in place on Friday, but they're late. I'm not surprised by that, so we'll see what happens. My next fight is arranged. Now I'm just looking for an opponent. It's just frustrating because I've done more than enough to earn a title shot. I've been the number one position for 2 years, fought numerous titles, defending my WBC silver, defending my WBC number one spot. Breazeale is number 4, he's done nothing. So why is he mandatory? How can he be the mandatory? It's boxing, it's politics. A lot of things happen in boxing, you can't cry about it, you can only crack on and do the best you can. I have a great team who are constantly working behind the scenes, turning the screws. Dillian Whyte statement. So, yeah, certainly, I mean, who's done more than him to earn a shot at the WBC? Now, I know people say, well, he should have took the Anthony Joshua fight. As I've said numerous times before, when Dillian has been on this channel on several occasions now, where we have talked about the possibility of him grabbing the WBC title and then going for Joshua in the rematch that he wants, Joshua wants, everybody else wants, but make it for undisputed. So not only would it be a big fight, it'll then become a mega fight. Okay, and he's been going down the WBC route for a long time with that in mind. So this is one of the reasons why. Now, he is right when he says that he deserves a title shot more than anyone else as far as the WBC goes. Well, in fact, as far as boxing goes, right, but we're talking WBC here. I mean, if you look at the people who's had a WBC title shot over the last few years, have any of them done anywhere near what Dillian Whyte's done? I mean, Dillian Whyte, on his resume, we can look back-to-back wins over Derek Chisora. The second one, he ended it emphatically with a spectacular knockout. Derek Chisora was top 15 on both occasions at the time. Robert Helenius was also a top 10 at the time. And Robert Helenius, while he only had one defeat on his record in the fight against Johan Duaba, where he was winning, but he got clipped. That's boxing for you. And Robert Helenius was tipped to be the next Vladimir Klitschko. He's defeated Joseph Parker, who is former WBO World Heavyweight Champion. Only lost one fight beforehand in a distance win or a distance loss to Anthony Joshua for unified titles. Lucas Brown, undefeated former WBA regular world champion. He was undefeated at the time. But yet, if you look at the other people who got world title shots, let's look at Arthur Spilker. What did he do? Nothing. The only time that he really kind of stepped up was against Bryant Jennings, and he got done. But yet he gets a world title shot. Chris Arreola, who had already fought for that very same title only a couple of fights beforehand against Bermane Stiverne, and got done back-to-back by Bermane Stiverne. And yet he still managed to get a shot against Deontay Wilder for the title. Bermane Stiverne, he's had 2 now. The first one he won against Chris Arreola, as we just said, but Bermane Stiverne has nobody on his resume other than Chris Arreola. In the rematch with Deontay Wilder, where he tried to win his title back, that was Deontay Wilder's first mandatory in, at the time, 3 years. He's now been 4 years and still only had one mandatory. It's supposed to be one every year. But Bermane Stiverne didn't do anything. He lost that title and then spent the next 2 or 3 years inactive. He had one fight against Derek Rossi, who's a gatekeeper, almost journeyman. And he got dropped badly in that fight. And a lot of people said that he didn't win that fight, but he got a decision. But we know boxing politics because Bermane Stiverne, promoted by Don King, who has very good relationships with the Suleimans of the WBC. Luis Ortiz, what did he do? He beat an ancient, way over the hill, Tony Thompson, who I've always liked, by the way. But that was Luis Ortiz's biggest win. Arguably, you could say Bryant Jennings. But the fight before he defeated Bryant Jennings lost to Vladimir Klitschko. And what's Bryant Jennings done since? Or even before that? Nothing. So even to now, Luis Ortiz did nothing. He had a points win over Malik Scott. A guy who Derek Chisora smoothed out. A guy who hit the floor like he'd been shot when Deontay Wilder hit him on the gloves. Malik Scott, Luis Ortiz went the distance with him. He nearly went the distance with prospect at the time, Dave Allen. But Dave Allen had already lost to Dillian Whyte. What's he done? Failed a couple of PED tests as well. But yet Luis Ortiz gets a title shot. I'm not saying he didn't deserve a title shot, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of things with Dillian Whyte has done more than Luis Ortiz. He has a far better resume. And he's pay-per-view as well. He's a huge, huge name. Luis Ortiz is not a huge name. He isn't. He's not the boogeyman. He just isn't. Didn't do anything as an amateur, really. He had a load of fights, but what did he win? Did he win any kind of world titles? No. Did he win any Olympics? No. So why did Luis Ortiz get a world title shot? Jarrod Washington, what did he do? Absolutely nothing except to win over Amir Mansour. That was it. Again, an old Amir Mansour. Deontay Wilder, what did he do? It took him 32 fights to get a world title shot on his 33rd. Before then, he defeated Jason Gavin, who was a journeyman. He had like 16 losses on his record when Wilder fought him. Wilder's resume was of that kind of calibre against journeymen, light heavyweights, cruiserweights, but yet he got a world title shot. So this is my point. Dillian Whyte should fight the winner of Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale. There should be no rematch, even if Dominic Breazeale wins, because it's a mandatory. But again, look at Dominic Breazeale. He's getting a WBC title shot. What did he do? He lost to Joshua. Has had 3 fights since. But the last one, he's been inactive for 14 months. Only had 1 fight against I suppose you could say, a gatekeeper. He had a win over Eric Molina, of all people. Again, Eric Molina got a world title shot against Deontay Wilder. He got one against Joshua as well, but he shouldn't have got a shot against either of those. Let's be real, he hasn't defeated anybody of any kind of great note. But Dillian Whyte has done everything that's been asked of him. Literally everything. As he says there, he's been number 1 for a good couple of years now. Dominic Breazeale's number 4, yet he gets the mandatory. Even though the WBC said to him, and Eddie Hearn, when Dominic Breazeale fought Eric Molina, don't worry, it's not for the mandatory position. Don't worry about it. You go fight Lucas Brown or whoever it was at the time. No problem. Now, I know people will say, but he should have fought Luis Ortiz when WBC ordered it. Go check the last video where I explained quite clearly that Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz was for the secondary mandatory. Secondary. Which meant he then becomes mandatory after Dominic Breazeale gets his world title shot. At the time, Wilder was fighting Luis Ortiz. Sorry, just after he fought Luis Ortiz, and he was due to fight Tyson Fury. There was a 2-way rematch with Tyson Fury. So Dillian Whyte wouldn't have got a world title shot for at least 2 years by defeating Luis Ortiz. So it just wasn't worth it. Again, everything has been brought forward now with Dominic Breazeale because he's getting a shot earlier than what was expected because of the Tyson Fury situation. But Dillian is still going to have to wait at least 1 more year to get a title shot, which isn't fair. Because the WBC don't put pressure on Wilder to defend his title against mandatory positions. They don't. In 4 years, he's had 1, which was Bermane Stiverne. So why should Luis Ortiz and Luis Ortiz and Dillian Whyte fight just because the Wilder radical fans want that to happen? Dillian Whyte deserves a world title shot. He should fight the winner of Wilder versus Breazeale. If Wilder wants a legitimate name on his resume, look no further than Dillian Whyte. If the Wilder fanatics who've been throwing Dillian Whyte under the bus for a long, long time, that is a huge name. That's an easy win, right? So let Wilder fight Dillian Whyte. Get Dillian Whyte on his resume. The people in the UK would be pressurising Anthony Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder and give him 50-50 just by defeating Dillian Whyte. This is what I've been saying for 2 years now. Because he is a legitimate name. A Tyson Fury was not a legitimate name because of all the inactivity. But ultimately, that was a cherry pick that went badly wrong. Again, what did Tyson Fury do to deserve a shot at WBC? when he beat Vladimir Klitschko, he went off for 2.5 years. He wasn't even ranked by the WBC, ever. But he comes back, he fights Teferi, and automatically gets a number 5 position in the WBC. Listen, as a fellow Brit, I'm happy about that. But beating Teferi after 2.5 years out does not earn you a number 5 position in the WBC. Then he beats Pianeta and gets number 4 or number 3? That's WBC politics, and for the fact Tyson Fury wasn't registered with the WBC Clean Boxing Program, which is protocol. To be ranked top 15, you must be registered with the WBC Clean Boxing Program, VADA testing. He wasn't registered with them until about 2 or 3 weeks before their fight. So again, WBC broke protocol. And they ordered Tyson Fury as well to have a rematch with Deontay Wilder. Why? Because they believe that Tyson Fury defeated Deontay Wilder. And it's money. But if WBC like money, which they do, look no further than Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, if Deontay Wilder defeats Dillian Whyte, that will be the best name on Deontay Wilder's resume. By a long shot. Anyway, I'll put the article in the description box. Go give a read for yourself. Come to your own thoughts. As I said, for me, I've always been saying it, and Dillian's been saying it as well with me, that he wants a WBC title shot. Get that title, and then go fight Joshua for undisputed. If he falls to Deontay Wilder, then he falls to Deontay Wilder. But right now, he deserves it. He deserves it more than any other WBC title challenger since Deontay Wilder got that title. In fact, even before then, because of Bermane Stiverne had it. Dillian Whyte deserves a shot at that more than anybody else has done. Yet they got their title shots, yet Dillian don't. Is it because he's not a PBC fighter? Maybe, who knows. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the WBC. As Dillian said there, that they were hoping to have a decision on Friday, which doesn't surprise me that they are late, exactly how he says. But I thought it was going to be today on Monday, so I'm hoping today, maybe tomorrow, we're going to hear an announcement for the WBC, and hopefully they do the right thing by ordering Dillian Whyte first. Whoever, maybe it's a Luis Ortiz, maybe it's a Povetkin, maybe it's a Caballero, maybe it's a Kaunaki. But as long as his fight on July 30th against whoever it is that they order is for the WBC mandatory position to fight the winner of Wilder Breazeale next, not in a year's time, not in 18 months, not 2 years or 3 years, but next. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.